Hi everybody, welcome back to Double Team, and today we will be discussing E3, and we also have a special guest. So, this is Tao.
Hi, my name is Tao. I don't know. I'm not that interesting.
He's on
That's
Twitter.
totally a lie.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
He's on Twitter, so I will put his link in the description below as well, so you can find him back. He's a good friend of ours, and he also watched all of the stuff for E3, so it would be interesting to discuss it with someone else as well. So
Yeah.
that's how he is a guest now. So for this E3, we're kind of gonna go over a list of like Sony, EA, Microsoft, all that kind of stuff, and see whatever we like the best from them. And that will be kind of it. We will just tell you what we are excited about, what looks good, and that's it. So yeah.
I was wondering, did you ever watch an E3 before, or is it the first time you were looking into that?
I've seen E3 before, but like stuff about it, but I never really watched the full conferences every time. And this time it is the first time that I did. I think I did before, but only for Nintendo, because Nintendo is like my bias when it comes to that stuff. So
What
yeah.
about you, Tal?
I usually try to just like when I can, because I usually have exams during that period. So if it's like, oh, I have like religion, then the next day I'll watch them. But usually I just watch the highlights.
Yeah.
Do you watch all of them, Mian?
I used to not watch them and just like search about what had happened the day after, but I think this is my third year watching E3 conferences properly. Because a couple of years back, we watched it in the Skype group that we all used to be in. And last year, I think I watched them by myself, and this year as well.
Yeah.
So that sounds right.
Yeah.
And I find that I really like following them because it's the best time for Twitter shit posting.
Yeah.
Like everybody's just watching E3 and making jokes about E3 is kind of the best thing. Like
Yeah.
I like watching E3 live because of that way more than I actually care about E3. So yeah, I wanted to be a part of that mess.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, like I think I lost maybe 10 people on Twitter to my E3 spam. I was like, I don't care.
Oh.
It's my life now.
Exactly. All right, so I guess we can jump right into it with like the one that kind of moved me and Miana the most from the conferences, which was Sony, with like the big show.
Oh, I thought you were gonna start in like order, but sure, let's start with the strong one.
Yeah. I think most people will be interested about that too, and it's also the one that is most talked about from what I've heard so far. So yeah, I don't know if you want to start with a game that you're excited about or that you like.
I guess I can start. It's just like Sony, regardless of the games, just started so strongly with like a fucking orchestra.
Yeah.
But like, even though the first game that they showed, which is God of War, I haven't played any of the previous God of War games. I was just so excited because of that, because the music was incredible, and just all of the theater on stage and all of that was so impressive. But I'm curious about this God of War because I've never played the others, as I was saying, but this one seems to be very different, and everybody was saying that the others were more like brawler style, kill a lot of dudes, and this one seemed more like an RPG-esque thing, so it got me curious about what they're trying to do. But that being said, I'm not sure I'm gonna play it because I've never owned a PS, and I don't think I would buy it for this game, but I would definitely get it for other games. Like Horizon was the big one in this conference for a lot of people, I think.
That's true. I thought that one looked very interesting as well. Although I'm not really into those kind of games, and it looks like really difficult, I would say, because it has a lot of options that you can do in that game, and with like the new electronic devices and stuff that she uses, or I don't know. But it looks very interesting for sure, and very beautiful as well.
Yeah,
that's
it
what
looked
I really
amazing.
liked. Yeah,
it looked great. For me, it's more like I don't usually play open world like games.
Yeah.
because it's just such a huge game and such a huge time investment that I usually play more directed games, but that one is one that I would get the system for sure.
You've had a lot of open world games this year. I've noticed, like
This year and the past few
Everything.
years, it's just a giant market.
everything in the world. Yeah.
Yep, true. I think you still had something to say about God of War, Tyler?
Yeah, God of War wise, I've played like the first two ones on PS2, and I've got to say I'm not really that excited about the change with 4, just because in the first like trilogy, you basically had a very open camera, which allowed you to just like jump around from enemy to enemy, and the main focus of the games were like very like chain combat, and this time you have like a very personal 3 perspective camera behind your back, and I don't know how the combat system would work with that, and whether or not they would like move on to something like enemy per enemy combat, which I don't know. I don't really look forward to that because God of War was so cartoony and over the top that like the brutality and all that really worked for the game. And Kratos as a character also changed. Like he has a son now and all that stuff, which is just I don't know how I really feel about that.
Yeah, I think it's probably a very polarizing game for sure when it comes out, because on one hand you have people like Tao who experienced the original games and are like, this is not the same game.
Yeah.
It's not the same series. But you also have people who have played, because I think there's like, 6 God of Wars at this point?
Yeah.
Something like that. That are like, that formula kind of got a little bit tired, and there are kind of no more gods for Kratos to be angry at and go and kill. Like, so you have some people that were kind of happy with the change in direction. For me, since I've never played either versions, like, I was just curious more than really excited. Because, yeah, for me, Horizon was one of the big points of this conference. But there are others that I'm interested in. I was always interested in Lost Guardian, and it kept being pushed off. And, like, it's been delayed for so many times at this point that people are getting really worried about the game. And finally they were like, no, it's going to come out and you have a date and it still looks really cute. So I still really want
that Half-Life 3 syndrome of like, oh, it's coming out, but not really.
Well, it's also been
happening,
in
though.
development for so long that every time people looked at the game, it looked older, per se. So it was like, is it gonna look like crap when they finally finish it?
Yeah.
but the trailer for it got me really excited again.
Yeah, for me too. I really, really want to play that one. I don't know. It just...
It looks so cute.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, it's like, it's cute with the I don't know, dog kind
Griffin?
of thing.
It
I don't
looks
know
like
what
a
it
griffin.
is.
I'm not sure. I don't know. I would call it a griffin. I have no idea.
Yeah, and did this trailer, there was another one, so now it's like, maybe he's not the last one of his species that are like conflicts. I don't know, I want to know. I'm really curious. And I'm really happy that this one made me happy, because this is from another conference, but Scalebound got me really disappointed.
Yeah.
And so I was like, but I want an animal friend. And this one had it. So
Yeah. That's also what made me want to play it. If I didn't have like the animal friend, I don't think if I would like it as much. It just changes a lot about the game because it helps you and you like you fight with it, I guess, or travel with it. So yeah, I really like that too. Another one that I am super excited for from Sony is Detroit Becoming Human, because I just love like those multiple choice kind of games or Telltale games, and then this one, the trailer looked fantastic and it just reminded me a lot of Life is Strange as well, like the gameplay and all that stuff. So I think it's really interesting that it's not with real humans either, so that will change your perspective for a lot of things in the game. So I'm just really interested in it. It looks great. I think it's gonna be fun to play. I just like these kind of games a lot.
I was really, really excited based on the trailer. I have some reserves because of a couple of things. One of them is the director of the game, I think.
David Cage,
Yes. He is very well known in the industry, and a lot of his games, even though they start by being like, you have all of these choices, then when you play them, they're actually a lot like, you either do this or you do that kind of thing. So I'm hoping that it's actually like a lot broader and you have that tree of choices like
Yeah.
it seemed like you did. But I understand that some people have some, I guess, well-grounded fears that it won't be as much like that, and it will be like most of his games are.
Yeah.
But I really like sci-fi and like cyberpunk or near future stuff, and I rarely get that sort of stuff. So I'm really excited to have something that looks like very Pulp Fiction, like crime mystery, but it's also with androids and stuff in the future. So I'm definitely curious, and I think I'll at least try it because it looks so interesting. I don't know, Tal, have you played any of his games or?
I've played a bit of Heavy Rain, and the thing about multiple choice games always is like people usually complain that you never really have like an actual choice at the end. That it always just loops back, like the whole Mass Effect 3 fiasco that happened.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, I kind of get it from a developer standpoint, since you have to like you're developing a game, and if you just cut out like half of the game, that's a lot of development money that just kind of goes to waste. But David Cage did kind of prove that he's like willing to sacrifice all that cash with Heavy Rain, where like you could have a lot of different. There were like above 20 endings in that game, so I'm like definitely looking forward to Detroit Becoming Human as well.
Yeah,
interesting.
Yeah, I definitely understand what you mean by that. It's just like sometimes I feel like it's just a difference in advertisement versus what you get in the final product. Like if they try if they make a big trailer and it's like every decision matters, and then when you're playing it's like, no, I know that this is just the illusion of decision. People don't really like that.
Yeah.
I have that with Life is Strange at the very end, like the final episode, because I feel like I haven't played them as much as I watched them, but I know like most of the choices and what they end up being in the end, and I feel like the very end of the game is like, well, actually, most of what I did in the rest of the damn game doesn't matter.
Yeah. You have that with a lot of little things in that game. That don't really matter. Because it says, like, it's going to change the future, but then it doesn't really change anything
Some
later
of them really do. Like, in the say, first 3 maybe episodes of that game, you can see how things transport from one to the others, but the overarching plot doesn't really change as much as you. Yeah. So, yeah. True. I guess, Tao, what else did you look forward to in Sony? Because me and Thalia already talked about ours.
We watched
the Pyre?
Yeah, Pyre looked pretty fun. I'm guessing you're
by
also
the guys who did Bastion and Transistor.
Yeah. Oh, that was a thing that came after the conference then. Yeah, it wasn't part of the Sony conference.
Yeah, it was part of like the before show thingy.
Yeah. I didn't watch the pre things.
Yeah, you watched the gameplay of it.
Yeah, Supergiant Games. Yeah, the guys that did Bastion and Transistor, like we said. It looks pretty interesting because we watched the gameplay, as I already mentioned. It's not really. Both games were like it was a single main character. There's like a narrator, which the guy is famous for. This time it's 3 characters, 4 including yourself, and it's not really all that narration heavy. It's sectioned off in like a visual novel gameplay style where you have like a bunch of branching choices and like a 3v3 match with, I would describe it as like ground basketball. You have 3 guys on one side and 3 guys on the other, and the goal is to either get the orb and get you guys on the other side of the camp and win that way, or just throw the ball into the other side and then win. And yeah, it's basically a toss-up between the choices and then playing the matches to further the story, and it looks really pretty. That's all they do.
Oh yeah, of course, and it sounds amazing already, as all of their games do.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited for that game. It's just it was announced, I think last PAX was the actual announcement of the game. So I saw the gameplay back then.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So, but of course, I mean, I've played Bastion and Transistor, so of course I'm gonna try this one.
I think the last one we have is Bound, that I let you know about, the ballerina one. Yeah. Which is, like, I think that's even my second favorite from Sony, even though it wasn't in the main show. But I'm really looking forward to it because I was so surprised in how pretty it looks and how kind of original it is in gameplay and stuff. And I really like it. And it's more like a platformer kind of as well, which I always like. So
Yeah,
I'm looking
it's like
forward to it.
it seems to be like a 3D platform.
Yeah.
Thing. Maybe a little bit of walking simulator added to it. I don't know. Like they didn't focus that much on that one because I think they tried to just talk about the AAA industry games in their show. Well, talk about per se. Sony didn't talk about games. They just showed us games, which was great. But yeah, that one. I mean, I used to dance, so I saw it and I was like, I want it.
Yeah, the game gave me kind of a journey feel because it's like very monochrome art style wise.
Yeah.
And it seems to very much focus on like exploration and stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm
It
looking
looks
forward
so
to that as
pretty.
well.
Yeah.
Another small one we didn't mention is Death Stranding, which got the crowd hyped up because Kojima just walked
Yeah, that's not a small one. I'm sorry. Did you see him fucking walk down
He
light
was a
steps
boss.
like a god? It wasn't a small thing.
But yeah, we can't really like say that much about the trailer because we don't even know what it means. It's Norman Reedus with a baby. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
so deep.
Like
it looks good though. I mean,
it looks interesting. I don't think anyone can say if it looks good because you have no idea what type of game.
what we've seen looks good.
That's a good trailer.
Yeah.
You don't know what the game is.
Yeah.
And I don't think anybody is gonna know until way down the line because it's Kojima, and Kojima is a major troll. And he wore a shirt with Death Stranding advertisement in the press conference before, in which he said, "No, I'm not gonna do anything this E3. I'm just here to watch." Fucking badass.
Yeah, he's great.
But yeah, I'm curious. I like the trailer, and I definitely think it piqued interest, but we have no idea what style it's.
Yep. Exactly. So that's it for Sony for us. I don't know if you have another one.
I mean, not as major things. I think this Call of Duty, the one in space, looks like the only Call of Duty in which I'm interested in since I played Call of Duty 2. So like, it just looked really interesting the way that they made the fighting mechanics with like anti-gravity things and stuff like that, and just really smooth between spaceships and just getting off the spaceship and do Call of Duty shooty things.
Yeah, it's true.
It's definitely a Call of Duty game. Like, you can see in the shooting that it's a Call of Duty game, but it just looked so interesting. And again, I like space and sci-fi.
Yeah.
So this one is, I'm gonna keep my eye out for this one for once, because I've ignored the Call of Duty franchise for years. But yeah, and the same for the new Spider-Man. Like, I'm gonna keep my eye out, but it's not like a major hype thing for me. So I'd say Sony for me was like Horizon, Lost Guardian, Detroit, and Bound.
Yeah.
Like,
same.
But it was a great conference. Made me so happy. Even the games that I didn't care about, I was just so psyched watching it.
Yeah. It looked really good. So,
Which one do you want to talk about next?
Like for EA, I only have one. So that is the FE indie game. Or FE.
I think they said it different ways.
Yeah.
But I think it's supposed to be FE.
FE, yeah. So that was the only one that I was like, oh, that looks pretty. That looks interesting.
Yeah.
So that was kind of it for me. So.
How?
Me as well. I don't know. EA just was like, oh, sports and dancing and
Yeah.
a good game and dancing. Like, okay.
EA was EA. It was arguably the worst conference. It was just really boring and didn't have a lot of interesting titles. I like FE for sure. It's the one that I want to play. I'm interested in Titanfall 2 because I was interested in Titanfall 1. I think I only played like the demo or something like that at the time, and then I didn't get the game, and the game died really fast. But I'm really interested in Titanfall 2 also because it has like a single player. actual story. So even if it does die down in terms of the multiplayer, it's fine because I'm not that big into multiplayer shooter games. Or I guess it's not just a shooter because you have a mecha, but
Yeah.
but like I can still have a single player campaign that I'm interested in regardless. So I remember that I really like the gameplay of it. So I'm interested in seeing this game come back and hopefully stick around for longer this time. Apart from that, it was just a lot of we're not going to show you the cool things that you want to see. Like, I haven't played Mass Effect yet, but I know that a lot of people are looking forward to Mass Effect Andromeda. And they were like, yeah, we're still not going to show you anything like about how the game works. It's just another trailer. It was just like they kept teasing games, or like that Star Wars thing. It was just like, here, you can look at people that are working on Star Wars games across the world, but not look at the games that they are working on. But there are Star Wars things. So, yeah. Like, that was a really big disappointment. And of course, sports is...
Yeah.
I'm Portuguese, and I was embarrassed by seeing Jose Mourinho in that stage, just like saying yeah to a couple of questions and walking off, and probably earning a couple $1 million.
Yeah. True. So yeah, EA didn't really overwhelm us at all. So
Yeah.
I think we can move on to Microsoft then.
Sure.
We have 3. Well, I guess the biggest one for me was Final Fantasy, that they showed some of that. Final Fantasy 15 with the boss battle and how that works and stuff.
Did it still look super hyped to you after watching that?
I mean, for me, like, the big boss battles seemed a bit too much for me, because it was like, I don't know, it looked very chaotic, and I don't really like that a lot when it's boss battles, but still I do think it was interesting with like the warps you can do now and all of that. So I don't know, I am still looking forward to it, but I just want to play the game already. Like, it's been a while, so I mean, it was cool to see, but I'm not like overwhelmed by it or something like that. But I'm still very looking forward to actually playing. So
yeah. Tao? Have you played Final Fantasies?
I've played like a few and never finished one of them, so not really.
Yeah, I haven't finished them either, but...
Final Fantasy-wise, it is like Thalia said, because recently Square Enix is going more and more into like active combat instead of turn-based. It's their main franchise, and with like the warp ability, I hope that the combat is like very fluid. You can just like warp around the whole map and keep going with your combat, which looks interesting. And yeah, I don't really have that many thoughts on Final Fantasy. It's just... it's another Final Fantasy game. I hope they can like improve their track record, because lately they haven't been doing so well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never played Final Fantasy games, so I don't really get a say. But what they showed looked pretty grindy and not that interesting to me. It looked more interesting that other... was it like a demo or like a beta level or something that came out a couple months ago, I guess.
A VR thing, if that's what you mean.
No, I'm not.
Oh.
I mean something that came out before that just showed the mechanics of the game, even though it wasn't the actual game.
Yeah.
And that one looked a lot more interesting to me than just the boss battle that looked like it was going nowhere.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I agree.
So, yeah. But I think it's mostly how they're showing it as well. Like, maybe that boss battle is actually really interesting if they're not just messing around for 5 minutes just to show you more of the game instead of actually fighting it efficiently.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's hard to say. For me, it's like not a hype factor just because I've never tried the franchise.
Yeah.
But it looked really pretty. So for me, Microsoft, I'd say Recore, I've been excited about since they announced it last E3, 2 E3s back.
Yeah, it could be.
Something like that. Because now we actually got to see more of how the gameplay is gonna work. And I like puzzle platformer kind of thing, so I really like the idea of you have these different robots with different type of abilities, and you have to place the core in the right one that you need to use to advance in the game.
Mm-hmm.
And like sometimes you need the one that's like a spider thing so you can hang from things, and sometimes you need the buff one because you're in a fight. And I really like that idea. I think it's really cute.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been excited for that game ever since, and I didn't get a disappointment out of it, so I'm still excited, and I just want it to come out at this point.
That's good.
So, do you have
We like
thoughts
that
on-
one too. I mean, I like it to see and to see people play, but I don't think I would play it myself. But I do think it looks very nice so far, and I don't know. It's kind of original, I guess, like how they do it. I like it.
Yeah, it did look really nice. I don't know if I'm like hyped for it, but I would like definitely like play it if I have the time.
Yeah.
It's also done by KG Inafune, who's done Metroid Prime and Mega Man, and he has quite a track record, so I'm guessing it's going to be pretty good.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that one.
Anything else that you guys looked at?
Just the scale bounds that you mentioned already. So otherwise, not really when it comes to Microsoft.
I have a couple more from Microsoft, but unfortunately Scalebound is not one of them anymore.
Oh.
It looked so boring.
To me, it just looked like an edgy How to Train Your Dragon, basically.
Yeah, but like, remember when the trailer for that game came out and like it looked like super edgelord.
Yeah.
It already did, but it was like a trailer, so you only got to see him like, oh, let's fight and get the headphones on and be all. And I was fine with that because I can kind of get into that sort of characters depending on how you do it. It's just the gameplay that they finally showed like a lot of looked so boring.
Yeah.
I don't know, like I can't really explain why. It just looked really underwhelming and not fun, and that made me really sad.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's Platinum, and Platinum has done really well, for me at least, with Bayonetta and like Metal Gear Rising, and I like that studio. But I do have to agree, like the combat did not look very interesting.
Yeah, but you have to think that Metal Gear is Kojima and not necessarily.
Oh no, Rising was like its own thing for Platinum. It was
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, Scalebound did not look that great. Even though it had like dragons, they were just like pretty stale.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah,
really.
that's the thing. The fighting didn't look interesting, so that was sad. I do have others that made up for it. We Happy Few looked great. Looked really, really, really good to me.
Which one was that again?
It's like the one with like the face mask stuff with like white makeup on their face.
The one that looks a little bit like BioShock
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Okay, yeah.
The dystopian one with the happy drug and
Okay.
things really messed up.
I would say that We Happy Few is probably like the most interesting concept this year that I've seen. Because I've never really heard of a game being like that before.
Yeah. Yeah, now I remember. Yeah, it looks really cool and nice, but I don't think it's something for me. But
Yeah.
it does look very interesting, and I like how they did the trailer of it.
Oh, the trailer was great. It was so well paced. Especially because it was a gameplay thing. It wasn't like a trailer. So it was like the beginning of the game, and it's really nice.
Yeah.
It's a game that I really want to play because I like that level of creepy, and at the same time, I know I'm going to be really stressed out playing that game. So I might have to play it with company, but I love it. I love the concept. It's just so good.
Great.
I don't know. It's just me. And then we have Inside, which we don't know what it is like, but it's coming out at the beginning of next month, something like that. It's from the creators of Limbo, and I really like Limbo. So I'm just like, I don't know what the game is about, but it still looks like dark and miserable as all hell, and I'm gonna play it.
I saw that too. I think I will play that one as well.
How?
I haven't really seen anything about Inside. I'm sorry, so I don't really.
Oh, it's
We
fine.
watched
They
like
didn't
a-
show anything.
It was like a bit of a clip.
There was
but
like a mini clip
yeah.
or something like that, but yeah, there wasn't much to go from.
Yeah, Limbo is a very good game, so I'm guessing this studio probably won't do any wrong. I don't know.
Any other games from you, Tao?
Microsoft wise, no.
No.
I guess we're done with Microsoft. I'd just like to remind everybody of the cringe fest that was Minecraft.
Oh,
That
I didn't
was-
see that.
Yeah, I'm not interested in Minecraft at all. It's just been a
Oh,
bit
I'm
too
not
much.
either. It's just Microsoft being Microsoft in their conferences and having very scripted banter and like, this is the friendly expansion because it's the friendliest of updates. Like
Yeah.
that sort of stuff. So it was one of those moments that was so it was really really funny because it was so cringy. And the
Yeah.
same with like the banter in Sea of Thieves. I don't remember the gameplay for
Oh
Sea
yeah,
of
the
Thieves
fake
at
Let's
all
Play.
because I was always looking at the corner because it was just so annoying.
Let's hire actors to do Let's Play instead of
Yeah,
hiring
they're
YouTubers.
they're definitely gamers. This is what gamers act with their friends.
Wow. Okay, so next up we have PC. I think you wrote this
Yeah,
down.
PC gaming.
I think Miana has like something to say about Don't Starve.
Not Don't Starve, but the
Yeah, the
creators from Don't
expansion.
Starve, Clay, are putting out a new game that's also coming out really soon called Oxygen is not available. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the word I was missing. And we don't know what it is, but again, it looks like a Clay game, so I'm guessing it's like a survival game in their style in which you can craft different things. It's just this time it's like in space.
Yeah.
Or something like that. I feel like I've been saying space in this episode, but yeah, it's in space. It
Well, you
looks
like
really cool.
space games anyway, so
Depends.
yeah.
I actually don't play that many. I like the concept. I like the sci-fi things, but if it's just like you're gonna fly a ship through space the entire time, I'm not gonna play it. That's
Yeah.
not the type of. But yeah, I really like Don't Starve and Don't Starve together, so I'm definitely gonna be playing this one because I like the mechanics and the art style and all of that.
Yeah.
So. Yay.
We don't really like, for us, since we didn't really watch that conference from like PC gaming and stuff.
Yeah.
We don't really have anything to talk about. The Oxygen was the only one that was kind of on it because I think I know about it from you. So
Yeah.
otherwise, I don't have anything.
Well, I can just give you a very like quick overview of the things
Sure.
that. So there's a game called Turing Test that seems like it will be Portal without portals, but like that sort of puzzle mechanics. And I really like Portal, so I might play it. But
Yeah.
it doesn't seem to be like anything super different, just that type of game. So if you like that sort of thing, you might want to look at this one. We had a lot of VR announcements as well, like Superhot coming to VR. I didn't play Superhot, but I'd definitely like to play it in VR. That would be really interesting. Then I think the only other one that I was like really interested in is called Tyranny, and it's like I guess the idea is that you get to decide who you are as a leader to like your country or civilization, and it can be like super super bad
Oh, right.
and try to conquer other things or just like try to cooperate or not. But the idea is that unlike other games of the genre, you're on the side of the baddies. So
Okay.
I think those are the ones that I might play. I'm not sure about Giant Cop. First of all, because it's a VR title and I don't have a VR or money for VR at this point, and I'm not going to get it for a game like that.
Yeah.
If I'm getting it, it will be for a Star Wars game. So, but the trailer for Giant Cop was hilarious, basically.
Yeah.
It was just, the concept is that you as a VR player only have like your giant hands and stuff, are a giant cop who is the overlord of a city, and you get to decide like, oh, this is a criminal, and pick him up and just throw him wherever the hell. So the entire trailer is like, before Giant Cop appeared, his city was going down to dust, and stuff like that. Like testimonies of the citizens in the city and how they see Giant Cop. It was just, the humor in that trailer was really good. So it caught my eye in that sense, but I'm not sure I'll end up playing it. But I think that's it for me for PC Gamer. It was a very efficient conference. It was like a game, interesting questions about the game, next game. It was just packed with stuff.
That's good.
Next one?
Yeah, next one is Ubisoft. I only have a few for that, not too many that
Yeah.
I'm excited about, to be honest. But when I saw the trailer for the new South Park game, I kind of wanted to play that because we do have the first one here, and I did like it how it was like a mix of a visual novel kind of thing and like just turn-based combat as well. And it is South Park, and I like the humor. Like, if you don't like South Park, don't play it. If you don't like that humor, don't play it
Yeah.
at all. But I like it. I like the show. So for me, it was cool to see that they would actually, that there's gonna be a second one. So I think that's cool. That's the one I am most excited for when it comes to Ubisoft.
Yeah, South Park Fractured Butthole, Fractured Butt slash no space hole. I spun there, but yeah, I am also very the South Park games might be my favorite like franchise games because it like
Oh.
perfectly emulates what South Park is about. The show, like Thalia said, if you don't really like the show, you should probably not play the games. But yeah, this time they're taking on Marvel and DC, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is like she said. If you like South Park, you're gonna like the game. If you don't, you don't. And I do, so I'm looking forward to that game.
I am interested. I'm interested actually because I never really I watched a little bit of South Park, not a lot, and the bits that I watched, I wasn't really into it.
Yeah.
That type of humor is not usually my humor.
Mm.
But I am interested in the games though.
Yeah.
Even though I don't really usually like that type of humor, that trailer and like the presentation of the game totally won me over regardless. I don't know, maybe it's just that they showed the type of the beats of humor that were better in my opinion, and then I was more into it.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's just because it's a little less of the South Park humor and a little bit more gameplay as opposed to just watching South Park being South Park for 30 minutes.
Yeah, it's definitely like that because it is not all about the humor, it's about the gameplay as well. And
And it was so relevant with like the Marvel and DC things. So I don't know, I was really interested in that game. And I also love the fact that they started with that trailer that had nothing to do with South Park, and it looked like another like generic Ubisoft title. It was perfect.
They also changed the combat. Actually, the first one was a bit Paper Mario-y, with like turn-based timing, and now it's like grid-based, like Fire Emblem and all those games, which is interesting.
Which is a lot more interesting for me as well. But yeah, do you have one that you're excited about?
Yeah. I'm interested in For Honor because it's like you get to be a Viking or not, or I guess like you have Vikings and shoguns and like knights factions, but it's like I was really interested in the combat system because in one hand you seem to have a lot of like enemies that you can just kill easily and look cool. And then you have a few in which you have to actually like learn how to play way better to be able to defeat like the actual like boss like things that aren't just the minions. And I really like, well, the trailer was really interesting and I really like the mechanics.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I've never played that type of game too much, and I guess that's part of the reason, but it just looked so cool. And it looked really nice, and I'm like, I kind of want to just go and kill lots of people in a cool fashion as a Viking or whatever I decide to be.
Yeah, it does look very badass, I must admit. But this game isn't really for me, so I'm not gonna play it, but I do have to admit it looks pretty nice.
For me, it kind of looked like Chivalry. So if anyone has ever played that, they're probably going to enjoy this game. Like Miana said, the combat system is very involved. The
thing with Chivalry is that supposedly Chivalry is really hard to play well, like in terms of the movements and all of that. And this one seems like a little bit easier, if that makes sense.
I think it has an easy entry curve, but like the skill gap is way higher.
Probably.
Because like for instance, you can have a lot of positionings on your sword, and depending on the positioning, you can block in different ways, which is quite interesting.
Yeah. But Chivalry is a lot more like player versus player too, right?
This looks more like a team deathmatch kind of thing.
Or just like a single player campaign, which I really like that sort of stuff. So I think that was the biggest one for me in Ubisoft. There's obviously like Grow Up, which is the sequel to Grow Home, looks really adorable, but I still have the first one to play, so it doesn't really make that much of a difference. The rest just look like Ubisoft games, and Ubisoft games look really generic at this point. It's like, oh, it's another Ubisoft game, which is fine, and if you like them, but I'm not like super committed to Ubisoft, and especially not now that most games look kind of the same.
Yeah, same. We don't really have any other game to talk about either. We also had Grow Up, or the sequel of Grow Home, but I still haven't played that Grow Home either, so I just need to play that first and then see whatever.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, same.
It was just like, as a conference as well, I found it to be really, really, really boring.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that told me that. I didn't even watch it. I just watched like the highlights, and there weren't many of them either, so that kind of already said enough for me. So I was like, okay, well, I don't usually play that many Ubisoft games anyway, so yeah.
Well, it was kind of a typical Ubisoft conference. If you usually watch E3, you know that what their style is, and there's a lot of cringe. They have Aisha Taylor trying to save it with intended cringe, which works better, but it's still like, it's a very particular style, so.
Yeah.
And I guess that leaves us with Nintendo, because neither of us watched Bethesda and have any
True.
game to talk about.
Yeah, exactly. So what is left is Nintendo, which I was most excited about because I just love Nintendo. The only bad thing is they only not bad, I guess, but they only talked about 2 games, which are the 2 games I'm really excited about. So Pokemon Sun and Moon and the new Legend of Zelda, which both look really good, and I liked how they showed everything, although I have to be honest, I didn't watch all of it because it was just taking way too long for them, explaining stuff and going through the game. For Pokemon, it was alright for me because I am the most excited for that, and I like to see the changes in it. And it was more, they had better people to present it as well for Pokemon because they were really excited about it. But for Zelda, it was really boring for me. I couldn't take it. I had to go back and watch other people's videos about the game so I could kind of know more about it. But yeah.
Tao?
For me, yeah, Nintendo. I mean, Pokemon is Pokemon. It's always been a very good RPG. I don't really have that much to say on Pokemon. It's just consistently a pretty good franchise. The Legend of Zelda of some sorts. It seems like this is Nintendo's take on everyone doing open world games, which is interesting.
Yeah.
And with this Legend of Zelda especially, because from what I've heard, Miyamoto, when he first created the franchise, he had the idea to create Zelda off of him just rummaging through caves and finding bugs and stuff. So Zelda was supposed to be very heavy on exploration, and they told us as this game they're trying to go back to that feeling, which is interesting, because you don't have a map. You don't have a guide character like Navi, from what I've seen so far, which is also very interesting, because she's usually a staple for the franchise.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. But
I do think that Zelda is going to be a system seller for the NX, which is another thing. I kind of wish they had something to say on the NX, because it's going to come out soon and we don't know crap about the NX.
Yeah, everybody's really concerned because nobody knows what it actually is or does, and
exactly. Well, we'll just have to wait, I guess. We can't really do anything about it.
It's Nintendo,
for me, yeah, exactly. It was Nintendo being Nintendo, and I'm not a fan of Nintendo as a business. And their business model I don't really like it. So for me, it's I'm interested in the games that they showed. I've never played a Zelda, which I know is a big flaw in my life. But it looked really good, all things considered, and from what I know about Zelda, it looked really good. Pokemon looked great, but I've also promised myself that I should probably stop buying Pokemon games because I haven't been playing Pokemon games.
Yeah.
But I might end up just buying it because it's Pokemon.
Yeah.
And it looked really nice. But it wasn't a conference. It's their own thing. It's the Nintendo Treehouse Direct thing, because they don't do conferences anymore. But I don't like the style at all.
Yeah.
I watched it because I was watching it with commentators over it,
Oh,
and
okay.
everybody was super bored, and I was super bored, and I don't think it's an efficient way to show your games.
Mm-hmm.
Especially not when you have most of your creators are Japanese speakers only.
Yeah.
If you have people just playing the game and then you have sort of an interview going over it, but that needs a translator in the middle,
Yeah.
it just doesn't pace well. So I don't think it's a good way of broadcasting to an audience.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it was like definitely the most boring out of all of the moments that I watched.
Yeah.
I can't say it's the worst conference because it wasn't a conference, but
Yeah.
like for me it was really boring.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they could have showed what they showed the same way without doing this sort of thing. Because they've been showing things about the new Zelda and the new Nintendo in their own way without doing an hour of people talking while
true.
slowly playing a video game.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that for me is my complaint. I don't like that style, but it's Nintendo and people know what they're expecting. And it doesn't mean that the games are not worth it. Of course they are, but I'd rather not have watched that basically.
Yeah, it's true. Like you don't really need to watch it, everything. There's
Doesn't
plenty
make
of other
anybody
videos.
more excited to watch that hour-long thing. It was longer than an hour. I just watched the first hour.
Yeah.
I probably would have preferred if Nintendo from now just like announce their games on directs like they usually do and have them like
they
on
usually
Flare.
do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then just keep E3 for like console announcements or stuff like that, like really big announcements.
But
I don't
people are
think
just
Nintendo
expecting
needs
Nintendo
E3
to
anymore.
do something.
Because
Yeah.
Nintendo keeps doing their big announcements outside of E3.
Yeah,
Yeah.
true.
So, yeah.
Yep.
For me, it's just not a thing. But, yeah. I think that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
We didn't really talk about hardware for the other companies.
Oh
but
yeah.
Microsoft announced both a slim version and then the newest, more powerful Project Scorpio, which means that it's stupid to buy the slim version. You should wait for the one that's more powerful. So that for me, that was like, why would you do that?
Yeah, I don't know.
It made the console obsolete in the hour that took them to finish the conference. But sure. I mean, the only argument I see to buy a slim version is if you want, like, if your Xbox breaks or you never bought one, and you don't want the more powerful one in a year, you want one now, sure, go for the slim. But otherwise, you might just buy a normal Xbox and save the money.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, for me, that, like, I don't see the point, but sure.
Mm-hmm.
Then Scorpio was Scorpio, and people talking about teraflops and the best pixels, and that was a ridiculous announcement, but the system is supposedly going to be very good.
Yeah.
And PS didn't really announce a new console. They just talked about the VR thing.
Yeah.
Didn't they already talk about a 4.5 before E3 actually?
Yeah, they talked about that before.
Yeah, that's been going around, before.
So it's
because
just,
of the VR.
Yeah,
they
it's
announced
just
that, so.
Microsoft a response to PlayStation, which is like this interests me because this might just like have generation time. Like instead of having like a console for like 5-7 years is like a typical length for a generation, you now have like this might be a trend like where we each time get like a 5 and then a 5.5 and then a 6.
Yeah, like upgraded versions maybe.
Yeah.
And that way
I don't like that concept.
Yeah.
I don't like the idea that consoles are like smartphones.
Yeah, exactly, yep.
But
this
like,
way the console players might be able to keep catching up with computer players more, because usually computers are way ahead of consoles. But if you have like smaller incarnations of like consoles every 3 years, the consoles might be able to slowly catch up to PC, which might be interesting.
yeah, but I think that the people who usually the people who play more console than PC are not the people who are super interested in having the best performance, because otherwise they wouldn't be playing on console right now.
Mm-hmm.
They just want a box that has everything without having to think about, oh, I need a new graphics card and a new, you know? So I'm not sure if that's the same market. But I guess we'll see. It's the first time they're trying to do consoles like that, so.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see
Yep.
how it flies.
Yeah, exactly. I think
Yeah, that concludes our huge discussion on it.
yeah. That's our discussion for E3. So everybody, if you like this discussion, let us know in the comments so we can do it next year as well, or if something else big is coming up, you never know. We can discuss that as well because we both do like gaming, so and it's interesting for us to talk about it. Also, Tao, thank you for being a guest.
Sure thing.
On this
You
one?
can have me whenever.
Yeah, it was really
It was
fun.
great. Thank you
Yeah.
for being here. It's different input, and you know about games that we don't know about. So
Exactly. So that's cool to hear your thoughts about it. So yeah, as usual, like I said, if you want to check him out, I will put his links in the description below, so you can check him out. Miana's links will be there as well, as usual. And for
go check Tao out. He's lovely.
yeah, he's like shaking his head no.
Don't mind him. Mind me. I'm a regular in this show, so my opinion counts.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, so for the next episode, we're actually gonna discuss our final thoughts for the season that has just is going to end. So you can look forward to that, and then afterwards we will have the first impressions, of course, for the new season. So there's a lot of stuff coming up. Expect a lot of long videos because there's gonna be a lot. So
What
yeah,
a shame.
it's fun. It's good. We have a
Yeah.
lot to say.
Season changes are always interesting.
Yep.
And we usually disagree a lot, and people seem to like that. So
Yeah, that's true. It's good for discussions. So that's what we're here for. Anyways, you can look forward to that next time. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we will see you soon. Bye.